This is from Relationships subreddit, and it's a little bit older. My husband is reluctant to be intimate with me after I was in a major accident. I, 30 female, have been married to my husband, 45 male, for 5 years and together for 8. Obviously, we have an age gap in our relationship, and whether we've discussed possible health issues or medical care, it was regarding him. About 4 months ago, I was in a car accident. I was talking on Bluetooth to my husband because I was nervous driving on the icy roads going to our house when another car rounded a corner too fast and lost control. It was one of those exact wrong moment things, and my car went off the road and into a tree. My husband heard the whole thing, and my last memory before I lost consciousness was him screaming my name. I don't want to get into the bloody details, but I ended up being in the hospital for over a month. I needed multiple surgeries and have been in physical therapy ever since. I am finally getting to the point where I feel like myself again, and I'm no longer in pain. I've gained back some weight and look good if I do say so myself. My husband literally worked out of my hospital room for the entire time I was there. He went home to shower, sleep, and look after the dogs, then came right back. He attended all my therapy appointments so he would know how to better help me recover at home. He was amazing and everything I could ask him to be in that kind of horrible situation. I love him so much. And so yesterday, while shopping, I saw this gorgeous black lingerie set and decided to surprise him. Don't cry.
Sorry.
You're going to make me cry. We haven't had sex since before the accident, and every time I try, it feels like he makes an excuse or expresses some concern about some random body part of mine that is no longer injured. He was on his laptop in bed when I came in wearing my new purchase, and I could tell he was taken by surprise. I basically crawled into his lap and started kissing his neck and grinding on him. He was definitely hard, but then he lost it and pushed me away, saying that we shouldn't rush this and he doesn't want to jeopardize my recovery with sex. I was crying by the time he ended the sentence and said, "I'm fine. The doctors say sex is fine." But he was already walking into the bathroom and turning on the shower. I don't know what to think. Is it the scars? Is the memory of me in a hospital bed, unable to even sit up by myself, repelling him? I finally am starting to feel good about myself and my body again, and the fact that he won't touch me is really hurting my mental health. It's probably a long shot, but has anyone else experienced this?
I'm just so glad that I'm picking up that he's just more worried about her well-being. Because when you first said this story, like, I was literally about to lose it, thinking that she went through this traumatic experience and then her husband was just like not interested in her anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But it sounds very much like he's a great husband and that he's just so afraid of hurting her. I mean, I hope to God that it doesn't have anything to do with like her scars. That would be awful. But I mean, they just need to have like an open conversation about it. Like, if that's what he's feeling, like they need to discuss that.
Yeah.
And I don't know. What are your thoughts?
No, you keep going. You're on a roll. You're doing good.
No, that's mic is yours.
Well, my first thought is like he was on the phone during this whole accident. Like he heard, sorry, there's a bug flying around and it's driving me bonkers. But he was on the phone during this, this whole accident.
I can't imagine.
On Bluetooth. Like he heard everything.
Makes me cry. Like just picturing that situation, feeling so helpless to like hear that and not knowing if you just lost your partner.
Is she dead?
Like,
is she alive? Like she lost consciousness. It's not like she could be like, I'm okay. Like this was a major accident.
Oh, I can't even like imagine. Okay. Go ahead.
So my first thought, I'm like, he is clearly struggling with like some maybe even post-traumatic stress disorder. And just like you said, like so concerned for her and like doesn't want to hurt her. Like he just watched her in this super vulnerable like situation. And now it's just like, it's like China glass. It's like, you just want to, you don't want to break it.
Yeah.
And also if she was in a hospital for a month, like she was probably like really, really banged up. Like really, really banged up. Like to be hospitalized for a month, like you're pretty bad off. Like,
and him being there 24, like as much as he could.
Yeah.
It's like seeing her like that. it's probably, like you said, hard for him to just let go of that image.
Yeah, absolutely. Which the top comment like does kind of touch on. They say, your husband literally worked out of your hospital room and only went home to shower and keep the dogs alive. Your husband loves you, and this is crystal clear. Like someone else has said, I don't think it's him feeling unattracted to you or scars, etc. I think he is seeing your body now as a very fragile thing that he almost lost.
Yeah.
He could very well possibly be traumatized from the car accident and seeing you in the hospital bed for weeks. I don't often suggest couples therapy, but I think it would behove him to help work this out with you in a setting like that.
Yeah.
You're very precious to him, and while it isn't rational thinking, he could be terrified of damaging you in some way.
On a lighter note, this reminds me of Twilight.
Bella,
I can't imagine what he was feeling.
when
He was just so strong and she was a human. So when they had sex for the first time, he like broke the bed. Pillows were everywhere. You don't remember that scene?
I do remember that scene. It was
and then she had bruises all over and he was literally like disgusted with himself.
Yeah. I'm sure that's what this guy feels like. He probably feels like the Hulk now and like,
yeah,
my little wife.
Ain't my little angel.
This is kind of a like, oh, it's sad. Like I'm so sorry she went through this, but this is almost like, it is wholesome in the sense that like to have a partner like that, be so supportive, be so loving, be so caring. And it's sad that they both are going now through this, traumatic experience and everything, but it's really tough. So we do have an update.
Let's hear it.
Thank you again for everyone's kind and thoughtful comments. I read all of them, even if I didn't respond. Last night when we got in bed, I curled up next to my husband and held him while I said basically, quote, we've been through a lot. Would you be willing to get therapy with me to make sure everything is all right for both of us? I love you so much, and I don't want any underlying trauma to affect our relationship. He was silent for about 10 seconds, and then the floodgates opened. I've only seen him cry once or twice in our entire relationship, at our wedding and the first time I told him I loved him. But I held him while he sobbed for what was probably an hour. He kept apologizing for it, and I had to keep saying, don't be sorry, I'm here. Cry if you need to cry.
My heart. Oh my God. Okay.
And I shed some of my own tears. It was an exhausting but ultimately extremely cathartic experience. When it was all over and he was able to say more than a few words, he told me that there was about 15 minutes when he was sure he had just heard the love of his life die. Then we got to the hospital and the doctors made it clear they would do everything they could, but the extent of my injuries were extreme and severe. Then he spent hours calling family members, waiting, pacing, and trying to grapple with the fact that I might die and he might be alone. Then I spent 5 days in the ICU, mostly unconscious. He said he's never known fear like that in his life. In the end, we agreed to go to individual and couples therapy and even touched on the sex thing, wherein he admitted that he knows objectively nothing bad will happen to me if we have sex, but for some reason it is sparking this protective instinct that makes him want to treat me like glass. So we're working on it, and our marriage is amazing. He's the love of my life, and we can get through this. They're so cute and like sad.
Why
do I keep ending with these ones?
I don't know if I've cried that much in any one of the episodes.
Really? Oh my God, you have tears like all down your neck.
Oh my God. That like,
wow.
There's so many emotions that I had throughout that entire story.
Yeah.
It's like beautiful and sad.
I kept it together so well until the end. It is. It's like exactly. It's beautiful, but like sad, but like, oh, fuck. I was like wondering when I read the first part, I was like, she was probably on a ventilator. And so like there's like, or even like if the extent of her injuries were this bad, like a medically induced coma to like preserve like brain and swelling and like all this shit. And like after hearing that, and then you like look at this person like with a tube down their throat, that's like what's keeping them breathing. I can't
imagine. I can't imagine.
This is why I get so annoyed when Justin wants to do stupid shit.
Yeah, I understand.
I'm like, don't put me through this.
And being on the phone too, like, oh my God.
There's like, I've been in 3 car accidents now, and there is nothing like that sound. Like, I will never get that sound out of my head. The sound of metal, like metal crunching like an accordion, and even the glass.
My brother picked me up one time when I was young. I was working at Cold Stone, and he picked me up and backed up into a dumpster, and like the feeling, and we were just backing up, and the feeling is just so, like you said, I won't forget that feeling, that crunch, the glass shattering, the rock that I felt through my body. Like, it just jolts you. And to hear that on the phone too, of someone that, the love of your life, like, oh, and there were just so many emotions there. That was a lot. But I'm really happy it ended that way.
It's not over.
Oh God. Okay.
So I wanted to see what comments OP had said, and there's another update.
Okay.
So the original post, by the way, was posted 4 months ago, and this additional update, which let me make sure there wasn't another one before this or anything. Someone commented on the original one. No, I'm not crying at 7 a.m. You are. And OP responded, when this man said for better or worse, he really, really meant it. Okay. So yeah, this is the only update. 3 months ago. Here we go. Hi, everyone. First of all, I want to say I was absolutely blown away by the outpouring of love and support I received on my first post. I never could have imagined it would blow up like that, and I received so many thoughtful and kind comments and messages from strangers. That being said, when I wrote that, I was in a weird place. Physically, I had mostly healed, but I was determined to shove down any emotional trauma because I was so exhausted from the previous months of work trying to heal my body. I wanted to be all right, and I wanted my marriage to be the same as it was before the accident. My husband and I just attended our 3rd marriage counseling appointment, and I'm very happy to report the exercises and worksheets we've been given are helping rebuild the husband and wife relationship instead of the caregiver/patient relationship, which has been present for the last 5 months. My husband just had his first individual therapy appointment a few days ago, and I have mine next week. In short, we're putting in the work. We're also having sex again. Like, a lot of sex. I feel silly bragging about that to the internet at large, but it makes me so happy that we've figured out that part of all of this. Prior to the accident, and really throughout our whole relationship, we've been so ridiculously into each other. It was rare we even skipped a day. I missed having that connection to him, and he was clearly hurting too. Anyways, I just thought everyone deserved an update. Little
That's
cuties. Wow.
She sounds like an amazing person.
Amazing.
Just a fighter.
I love therapy. I love that this helped them. I think, like, after any major trauma, accident, things like that, like, everyone could benefit from therapy. Mm-hmm. Everyone can benefit from therapy on a daily basis. But this makes me really, really happy. And as an OT, that is something that I ran into a lot, is like the caregiver role versus the partner role.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense too.
And it was something, because for my like doctoral capstone, I really, really, really wanted to focus on addressing sexuality and like intimacy, because it's not really addressed as a part of people's healthcare journeys, whether that's with accidents, cancer especially. Like, oncology is like a very neglected area in terms of like occupational therapy needs. And so that's something I really wanted to address like during my OT work. And this is really making me miss it right now. Wow. But I had, I gave like a talk during not a talk, but I gave like a talk during a stroke survivor group. And I, addressed sexuality and how you can use different adaptive equipment or just reconnect with your partner on an intimate level again, because you've been in a caregiver role and things like that. And some of the people I had in that like talk were 7 years post stroke. And we're like, you're the first person that has ever addressed that with us.
Wow.
7 years after a stroke. Like, this is not something that is addressed. And so I'm so happy for them that they were like, they took such an initiative and had the communication skills to like address this in their relationship.
I agree.
Because so many people don't.
Yeah.
And it should be talked about. Like, as an OT, we have like our ADLs, like you have your activities of daily living that are essential to living, eating, sleeping, there's, bathing, things like that. But sex is one of those essential activities. And the fact that it's not addressed during a lot of people's healthcare
You're
journey.
right. It's crazy how much
sad.
it is so hush hush.
Like, why?
Yeah.
Why? A lot of people enjoy sex.
Mhm.
Obviously, there's some out there that don't, and that's okay. But like for a lot of people, it's a big part of
a relationship.
And that's intimacy.
Completely okay. But yet, for some reason, it's very hush hush. You're right. We don't really talk about it.
No. So I'm very, very happy for them.
Me too. That was a great story. And this is 2 episodes in a row that we both lost it at the end. So
oh God. This is better than the hiking one though, like in terms of my composure, because if you guys saw the bloopers for that, holy fuck was I a mess.
I don't know. I think I lost it. Like
more in this one.
when there was a part that you were reading that I literally had to cover my face from the camera because I just lost it.
Oh, Lowen.
Yeah.
Oh, well, it ended on a really, really happy note. And I'm going to like follow their account. So hopefully there's more updates in the future even. But this was a good episode.